All right, so I'll continue. So this title is worth less than $1,000. This thing you worked for, you formally wanted it. Oh, I'm the greatest guy in the planet, dude. I know my boxing, my pro boxing stuff. I know a little bit, or I know enough to know that everybody wants, like, it's a big political game, right? If you are actually good enough to just beat everybody, you'll never become champion. Okay, you might become a gatekeeper at most. What's gonna happen is that they're gonna ask you to take dives, and you're gonna take them because they're gonna offer you money. Now, if you're the type of guy that just refuses to take dives, that only has legit fights, and you're good enough to become champion, nobody's gonna help you. Nobody's gonna take you to the gym. Nobody's gonna bring you back. Nobody's gonna pay for your gym fees. Nobody's gonna pay to make sure you get coached. All the guys who are training there are not gonna wanna train with you. You're not gonna do shit, and you're not gonna accomplish shit in there. Okay, the way the politics work in boxing, and this is like a metaphor for life, the way it works in boxing is that, you know, a boxer is picked from the amateur time, and he's picked based on his personality and all that shit, and his connections and everything, and they pick him and they go, okay, this guy will become champion. That's it. They put him in and they go, okay, let's put him against a guy who can beat easily for like the first 5 fights. Let's put him up against guys who he can just knock out and look pretty doing it, you know? And then after 10 fights, say, okay, put him against guys who are decent enough to hang like 3 or 4 rounds with them and get knocked out. Yeah, that's how it is. And then they get their belt. What does that mean? That means that the formality of getting that belt doesn't mean fuck all. It doesn't mean shit. What is that formality? Oh, I'm the champ. It doesn't mean shit. Every boxing champion, I don't know, but a lot of boxing champions will tell you it doesn't mean shit. Dude, I won my title. I blew all my prize money on partying, and fuck, my belt is the only thing I have. Wow, that's real great. So, what does formality mean? I could formally get a PhD, okay? Same thing. There are classes where there's certain professors that are very easy. There are classes that are easier. You can get connections to higher up to give you credits for free, and get whatever piece of paper degree you want. It doesn't mean shit. Dude, I am out of that formality mode. It doesn't exist, man. There's no formalities. You know, formalities do exist. They count, but not as much. What happens is that you have to genuinely earn something before you get that formality. You see what I'm saying? So you genuinely gotta be liked. You have to play the political game right, and you have to be liked to get to that formality level. Which means you have to genuinely be the right person before you get the formality. You see what I'm saying? We all live in different kind of worlds. Dude, if tomorrow, Mayweather, by the way, is undefeated, but imagine a guy who I talked about, like, who would never get put on, right? Imagine a guy who never gets put on. Nobody, like he just came out of the dirt and the darkness, started from level 0. Rough and tough, out of all the worst things in life, the worst life, all that shit. No support, no popularity, fucking struggling for every little thing he has, and being hated and all that shit. Hated not for his bad qualities, for his good qualities, right? That guy gives Mayweather his loss, it's all over, man. I mean, Mayweather would probably not even know what to do the next day. He'd probably be like, fuck, what am I gonna do with my life? Because I was never beaten in my life, and I went up against like the best of the best the world could offer. I went up against the best of the best that the world could offer, and I never lost to anybody. And this guy who had zero support, a guy who maybe he forget respect, but maybe he thought had potential or whatnot. Maybe even he was willing to vouch for, but a guy like that, to give Mayweather his first loss would just break him down, man. It would be so significant. It would be so significant for a guy like that to defeat the best that they had to offer. You know what I mean? He had all the abilities and everything, and he was perfectly liked, and he played the game perfectly. A guy like me to beat Mayweather would just be fucking huge. How would a guy like me do that though? I would have to genuinely, I would have to genuinely get into this shit. For me though, sports is not, when I was playing sports, I was still a child. As an adult, I'm not ever gonna get into competitive sports, I'll tell you right now. I don't give a fuck about competitive sports. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care about any competitive sport, okay? I don't count billiards as a sport, by the way, all right? I don't. Golf to me is just a fun game. I just don't see what's the competitiveness about? Why do I have to play for money? Dude, it's enjoyment, man. It's enjoyment. Why the fuck? Like, doesn't make any sense, right? So, yeah, I would never get into sports, man. I played sports as a child, not as an adult, man. In the adult world, I'm not gonna be playing sports, man. There's a fucking real world out there, man. What the fuck am I gonna do playing sports, man? You know what I mean? So, that's all I was trying to say was that there's a world of formalities and there's a world there's a world of formalities and then there's a world of genuine stuff. Okay? To me, like, I'm not in that mode that I was anymore because as of now, I've learned that, it's not like I'm alone, there's many others like me, so I don't have to be alone, first of all, you know what I mean? And secondly, we're all similar and we all want similar things and we all want a similar life. That's all it is. Nothing wrong with that. What do I gotta say lastly? Dude, if you want to count on something, count on the genuine, okay? The genuine will help you way more than some kind of formality. Dude, tomorrow you could win the lottery. Okay, somebody could come up to you, oh, you got the lottery. You're gonna win the lottery. You just formally won the lottery. You won a lot of money, right? You formally got that money. But are you genuinely able to sustain that? You know what they say about lottery winners is that most of them end up going broke. And that's like a statistic that is so commonly talked about. Most lottery winners always end up going broke again. So, anyways, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I want to add to this. There's not really. That's all it is. I count on genuine things more than formalities, more than what people think when they're people who don't even know anything about who you actually are, and then they think a certain way about you. Like, I don't think about that. I don't think about stuff like that. And I'll tell you, dude, I don't have a problem with anybody. I don't care if he's a president or the most evil president of the most evil country in the world. I don't hate on people, man. I don't care if he's a clown. Why would I hate on a clown? He makes people laugh. He's there to appease people, to talk to them, to make them laugh, to do his little bit, to entertain people, to say things that, a clown can even do the news, man. Why do people talk shit about clowns? A clown is capable of even doing the news. I don't hate on any clown, man. You know what I mean? Why would I hate on a clown? That's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? And at the same time, why would I hate on Mayweather or anybody? Dude, first of all, let me just clear up one thing. Because there are people out there, there's people out, and I see, there's people out there not in like business world and things like that, and they always make fun of Mayweather, okay? They always talk shit about Mayweather. They talk about how stupid he is, that he's dumb, he's uneducated, he doesn't know anything about money, all he knows how to do is boxing or whatnot, right? I don't agree with that, first of all. I do not agree with that, but I do want to throw out there the fact that there are a lot of people, there are just so many people who counted Mayweather as like Fortune 500. I think in it was 2 years Mayweather actually got the number one earnings because Tiger Woods wasn't doing so well, and Mayweather got the top earning as an athlete in the world in any sport. 2 years he did that in Fortune 500. Okay, so what I want to let people know is that this guy is just so respected and his word means a lot. You know what I mean? Do you understand what it would mean to beat Mayweather? You know what that means? Nobody could beat. First of all, if you think you're gonna beat Mayweather by being fast, I'm sorry, you're not. If you think, well, I'm also very strong, I'm sorry, you're not. If you think you've got fighting down to the tactic and that you can knock him out, I'm sorry, you're not. If you think you're smarter than Mayweather and you're gonna beat him like that, I'm sorry, you're not. That he's very smart. If you think you got more higher winning a formula, or like you're just a bigger winner, you're not gonna beat him. You know what I mean? It would take a lot of hard work in your life. You'd be very hard to beat them. You know what I mean? That's why I warn people. I'm like, dude, there's some people that you do not want to include in your world, man. They're just gonna tear you apart like a pit bull on a fucking mailman. You know what I mean? You're gonna be like a postal guy, a postman, and you put these guys in your fucking artificial worlds, man, where you guys play games and everything's set up, and you know, mama's there to bake cakes for the winner, and you know, all that fucking gay shit. Like, dude, honestly, man, like, sorry, well, some of the shit is gay shit when dudes get together. Oh, we want, you know, whatever it is. You know what I mean? You put a pit bull, you put the wrong guy in there, man, he's gonna tear apart the postman like a pit bull. All right, because that's what fucking happened to Mayweather. All right, so I want you guys to understand that, and there's nothing more I can add or say, because if you watch the whole video and you comprehend it, there's nothing left to say.